I don't know if,
Oh, hey.
hey, you, I got in. Sorry guys, I was having trouble connecting. I think Megan is going to be joining us.
Okay. And
Um,
we've got Megan and Cindy. So
Okay,
we'll be on
excellent.
the lookout. Yep.
Yep.
But
All right.
awesome.
Perfect. Wonderful. So yeah, so thank you, Julie, for having me part of this and allowing me to take this journey with me. I mean, with you. She puts up with a lot. So let's get into tonight. Why improve communication? Why is that important? When you improve your communication, you're going to improve every relationship in your life. Now, often we think about just business and coworkers and teams, but I'll tell you what, this information that I'm going to share with you tonight probably saved my marriage because we needed to communicate and I needed to understand him and he needed to understand me. So it's the same with your children, with friends, when you're frustrated. So we're gonna go over a few of those things. So in that piece of paper that I didn't hand it out. I typically would hand this out, but that you received, we're going to talk about DISC. And DISC it's a tool that helps to improve communication through better understanding yourself and understanding the person that you're speaking to. So there are 4 basic behavioral styles, and we all have some of each style. What we want to find out tonight is where you're most comfortable in specific situations. You need to keep in mind there is not one style that is better than another. And the best teams, when you're looking to build teams, the best teams have a mix of all styles. So the first thing we're going to do is just review the 4 different styles. And the first one is called, it's the D style or dominance. I'm going to read a series of words, and if these words resonate with you, I just want you to write them down. So D styles tend to be driven, they are focused, they're determined, bold, and confident. They typically are fast-paced and they're very task-oriented. The next style is the I style or the influence style. So if any of these words resonate with you, I want you to write them down. Charismatic, outgoing, engaging, inspiring, enthusiastic. I's are also fast-paced, but they're more people-oriented than task-oriented. The third style we're going to cover tonight is the S style, and S is for steadiness. So again, if these words resonate with you, write them down. Stable, patient, loyal, service-oriented. These folks are more moderate paced and people-oriented. And then the 4th style that we're going to talk about is the C style or the conscientious style. These folks are detailed, planners, they're deliberative, analytical, and compliant. They're more moderate paced and very task oriented. So the next thing we're going to do is identify your style. But there's a couple of ways. I'm going to stop sharing so I can see you all for a minute. And I've muted a lot of you, so you can unmute because I want to take a minute and just talk about those words that you either circled on your page or wrote down. Who here wrote down any words from the D style? Okay, great. Deanna, what was your word?
Oh,
Or
we're
two.
only supposed to pick one?
No, write them all.
I picked them all.
Okay, she picked them all. Great.
Driven,
Lou?
focused, determined, bold, and confident.
Yep, all of those resonate with her, so we know. What about you, Lou? Which words did you choose?
I chose focused, determined, and confident.
Okay, fantastic. And Wendy?
I had driven and confident.
Excellent. And Kristen?
I put determined.
Excellent. Did anyone else, did I miss? Gretchen, did you have any of those words, or Kathy?
I had
Julie?
confident.
Confident, okay, fantastic.
I
Awesome.
had driven and determined.
Excellent. Okay, let's go down to that I style that we were talking about. Did anybody choose any or all of those words?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go right around the room again. Deanna, what did you choose?
First, outgoing, engaging, inspiring, enthusiastic. Not all of them, but almost.
Lou, did you have any from the I style?
I did. I had engaging, inspiring, and enthusiastic.
Excellent. Wendy?
I had all of them.
Kristen?
I had all of them.
Okay. Gretchen, did you have any?
I had all of them.
Excellent. And Kathy?
Yeah, hi, I had all of them.
Mhm.
Excellent. Good. Let's scoot down to that S style. Who, did anybody have any of those words that we talked about?
Yep.
Deanna?
I put patient and loyal.
Excellent. Wendy?
I had the same two.
Lou?
That was me. Stable, patient, loyal, service-oriented, moderate paced, and people-oriented.
Excellent. Kristen?
I had loyal and service oriented because I ain't patient.
You don't say.
Say that out loud.
Gretchen?
I had all of them on S.
Excellent. And Kathy?
Stable and loyal.
Excellent. Now let's get into that fourth section, the C style, conscientious. Who had some of those words? Deanna?
I had detailed, planner, analytical, and compliant.
Excellent. Lou?
I had detailed, planner, analytical, and compliant.
Excellent. Wendy?
I just had planner and detailed.
Okay. Kristen?
I had the same as Wendy again, planner and details.
Awesome. Gretchen?
The only one for me on that one was compliant.
Okay.
The others are my weaknesses, man.
Hey. And Kathy?
Just analytical on that one for me.
Okay. Fantastic. So I'm going to share my screen again, because as you can see here, we all have a little bit of all of those things, right? So now let's see, we're going to think about different situations and see if things change. So let's share my screen again. On your piece of paper, I would like for you to make a cross, and I want you to put fast-paced, moderate paced on the bottom, task-oriented to the left, and people-oriented to the right. So just the way I have it on this slide. And once you have that, I want you to write, it doesn't matter, in another little corner or whatever. I just want you to write home, and I want you to draw a line, and then I want you to write work. Okay. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. And first, I only want you to think about work. Okay. So at work, do you make quick decisions or do you prefer to take your time? And I want you to put a check mark beside, if you make quick decisions, we're going to put a check mark by fast paced. If you tend to prefer to take more time, I want you to put a check mark by moderate paced. Now I want you to think about home. And I want you to put an X instead of a check mark. Do you make quick decisions at home, or do you prefer to take your time? Next question. Do you tend to talk fast and bold? This is at work, so we got a check mark, right? At work, do you tend to talk fast and bold, or more quiet and soft-spoken? If it's fast, we put it up obviously by fast, and if it's moderate or soft-spoken, we put it down below with moderate. Now I want you to think about home. At home, do you tend to talk fast and bold, or are you more quiet and soft-spoken? Getting your brain work, taking you from work to home to work to home to work to home. We're going to end up with a week here. All right. Let's go back to work. And at work, is it more important to get tasks done? Or is it more important that all people on the team feel included? Do it, Deanna.
Okay.
Because it's a first gut instinct. It's like, what am I natural? Boom.
Hey, Pearl,
GSD.
can you let Cindy in?
Oh, sure thing. Oh, here it is. Look, I found the little button too, so we're good. Okay, and then think at home. Is it more important that you get all the tasks done? Or is it more important that everybody in your family feels included?
Mm.
And then one last question. At work, do you prefer research or team brainstorming?
Where does the X go?
So the at work is a check mark, and if you prefer research, you're going to go to the task side. If you prefer team brainstorming, you're going to go to the people side.
Okay.
Oh.
All right, I'm going to stop sharing again. So, Deanna, do you have more? We're going to talk work first. Do you have more check marks on fast or moderate?
Fast.
Okay. Do you have more check marks on task or people side?
They're even.
Okay. Now let's talk about home. Fast or moderate?
Fast.
Task or people?
I feel like a real bad person right now. Task.
Do not.
I'm like, oh, I'm so mean. I'm like, nope, get it done.
You are not
Okay.
alone.
I don't care about anybody else. We're getting stuff done.
Awesome. Lou, let's take a peek at yours, honey.
I think I messed it up a little bit. Um, Let's see,
So-
ask me the question again.
Okay. So do you have more check marks for work, right? Work was check marks. Do you have more check marks up by the fast or down by the moderate?
The moderate,
Okay. Do you have more check marks to the left on the task side or to the right on the people side?
task side.
Okay. Excellent. Now tell me about home. Do you have more X's on the fast or the moderate?
They're all on moderate.
Excellent. That's great. And are they more at home? Are they more on the task side or the people side?
On the task side.
Okay, excellent. Wendy, you're up. At work, are you fast or moderate?
So fast.
And
All people.
are fast people?
All people on the people side.
Okay, and what about at home?
Pretty much the same. I put like between fast and moderate on on home versus,
Yeah.
but pretty much the same.
Awesome. Kristen,
Yes,
at work, are you more fast paced or moderate paced?
fast. I think that says it all.
Yeah, you don't say. And are you more task oriented or people oriented?
People,
Yep. And what about at home?
fast and task.
Okay.
I don't care about my kids' feelings. House gets cleaned.
Excellent. And Kathy.
I was evenly split everywhere. I
Wow.
had one on the top, one on the bottom, one on the
Okay.
right, one on the left. every time.
Let's talk about work first, just work.
Yeah. Yeah.
You had
so
one and
split.
one.
Yeah.
Yep.
And one, one.
And one and one. So the cool thing for me is I've actually done a disc assessment on Kathy. She's a pretty even Steven kind of girl, so it totally fits. What about home, honey? When you think of home, were you fast or moderate?
Again, I was split
Split
between.
all the way around?
Yeah.
Okay,
Wow.
fantastic. That's awesome.
She's also consistent.
Very consistent. Hi, Cindy. I'm so glad that you could join us, honey.
I was so aggravated, I got out of work late. Can you send me the questions?
I cannot rate this second, but I
Yeah,
certainly
but I mean
will.
later,
Yeah,
later,
you betcha.
please.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go back to sharing. Okay. So now I want you to fill in these letters on your quadrants.
Hey, Perla, can we have Gretchen tell her fast or slow,
Oh,
moderate?
I'm sorry,
Oh.
Gretchen. You know what? I'm looking across the top and didn't even see you, sweetheart. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's
So
okay.
Gretchen, at work, are you more fast paced or moderate paced?
Moderate.
Excellent. And more task oriented or people oriented?
People.
Excellent. And what about at home, Gretchen?
More fast paced,
Okay. And
task oriented.
perfect. That's beautiful. So what that tells me is that Gretchen is clearly all of those things, but her behavior at home is different than her behavior at work, which is the case on everybody. But that was just a beautiful, like, it's here and it's here. Situations bring out different behavioral styles, right? So, understanding me, the key to understanding your behavioral style are your natural tendencies in whatever different situations. So here's how we use this information. We're going to use our natural tendencies not as a crutch. Oftentimes people will take an assessment and they will say like, well, I'm a high D. I'm big and I'm bold, I'm candid, deal with it. Well, all of those things are fantastic, right? However, there's a time and the place, but you also want to know who it is that you're talking to. Because while, like I said, all of those things are wonderful, the people around you may not feel the same. Just saying, take it from a loudmouth. This is why I enjoy this so much, because it helps me grow, right? So it's not the other person's job to deal with it. It is our job to use what we know to act and not react.
Mm.
So there's no labeling trap. People that get into this don't want to grow. You don't use it as an excuse. It's a way to create some awareness, check yourself, and then act. I say, recognize the situation, what's going on, choose how it is that I want to act, right? So can anyone else, can you think of any other situations? I'm going to stop sharing again just because I want to see all your beautiful faces. So you can see how things felt different when you were at home, when you were at work, because of the different situations, people you're around, stress levels, right? Where else or how else could you use this information?
When you're talking to your clients. So,
Yes.
like you could identify your clients as one of these. Like I think I'm an I, pretty much, with a few tendencies here and there, but I might be talking to like a D, and you got to kind of figure out, you got to do their assessments, or that you have to talk to them in the term or the way that they're used to. Like if you have somebody who's a task oriented person, and you know it, you could tell it because that was D, I think, I don't remember. But that's where you kind of hone in your skill. If you want to talk to somebody that's more like crazy like me, that's where you want to hone in. You know what I mean? Like that's how you want to talk with them. Does that make sense? I
Yes,
took a
you
training
wanna-
in this years ago.
100%. You want to speak their language.
That's
Right?
it. Thank you.
So there's so much more to this, like so many other characteristics that we will dive into like in the next workshop and things, but speaking their language, and it's kind of like you have to tell your story in the language that they're going to understand.
Mm.
If somebody is like task oriented and they only want they don't, they want to know, give me the bullet points, this and this and this and this, and we get caught up in the story and it's so exciting, and you know what they hear?
Nothing.
Right.
Nothing. You're right.
Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown.
Oh.
Exactly. So what other ways can we use this information?
When you want to enroll someone in your idea, if you use their thing that they're excited about, or well, you know Henry, right? So I work for my brother, and he's very high D, and I'm a high I. So I absolutely get to shorten it to the bullet points when I want to get him to do something. Like I literally sent him emails today. I didn't give him any of the details. I'm just like, check needed, this amount to this person, done. But then if you're talking to a high I, you want all that excitement and figure that out. And then it's so interesting when you want to enroll someone in your idea to use their language, gets them on board really quickly.
So how else can you use this information to grow?
So Perla, I've got something.
Oh, good. Julie.
You and I, like, we are spitting opposites when it comes to our communication styles. But so I think as you learn to grow by like really linking up with people who are not like you, and really learning like their styles, because I can better now communicate, I hope, with people that are more like Perla and have tendencies like Perla. Whereas before I was I'm probably bumping more up towards like a D now, but before I was like a CS. I was at the bottom of CS, right? So Like those are polar opposites in the term of communicating. So we've really been able to do this, and that helps my business. It helps me communicate with other people who are D's and I's. So that's a way to leverage it. And if we manage teams, being able to recognize those things.
Who here has ever been taught, like trying to talk to somebody and like you can see their words moving, their lips moving, but you really have no idea what they're saying? Right? I mean, I think I have. Or the other way around. You're like, Deanna, this pen is purple. And Deanna doesn't get it because she's colorblind and thinks it's green. Or, you know what I mean? But it's, you have to, I lost my train of thought when I got off with the purple and the green. But you know, like it's that I cannot get through to this person no matter what I do. So you try it another way, and then you try it another way. So learning these techniques. The other thing, so I was going to say, how can you use this information to grow?
Because for me, when I'm squeezed is when I go back to my normal, like my quick reaction. But if I can modify my own language to theirs, that's one. But then also by listening and figuring out which one they are, you know, that just helps me as well. Yeah.
What about that? You're absolutely right, Kathy. Absolutely. So the way I've used this to grow is exactly what Julie said. Just because, and I mean, I am on the tippy top. I actually shared my DISC results with you all because I want you to see all of the detail that it covers and how it tells you how to work with certain people. And I'm a ID right at the very, very top. And it's funny because you know what? 10 years ago, I was a DI way at the top. So now that I've turned 50, apparently I've got a few more patients. No, but rarely does your style change unless it's something traumatic happens, a huge life change. Mine only, like I was within like 2 points either way. And I've been taking these specifically DISC for the past 8 years and nothing ever changes, you know? However, because that's my natural tendency, I am much more detail oriented now. I hook on to people like Julie, who is detail oriented, who is that CS, and I learn from her. Because this is my natural tendency does not mean that's the only thing I can do or should. What I should do is learn from it and grow, and I'm looking to enhance the areas that are out of my comfort zone.
And then you can identify with with clients or with people when you understand them yourself. Like when you understand I'm talking to a high D, you could hone it in more when you're trying to learn that, not learn it, but trying to understand that basic person, like that their qualities.
Perla,
Wow.
do you find that people, so say I'm going to take the D style, for example, driven, focused, determined, bold, and confident. Do you feel if when they are communicating in that way, that that's the way they want to be communicated to as well? Like, so like someone who is bold and confident, they want someone on the other end saying like acting bold and confident?
Yes.
So
100%.
we should mirror what we're hearing.
Absolutely. I will tell you my biggest challenge to this day, and I am grateful that I have this one person that I work with all the time because he tests me and he doesn't know that I'm really testing, like doing things, but I have a difficult time with people who need to think about things for a long time. The S style is my biggest challenge. Therefore, I'm excited to work with them, as many as I can, because I'm like, are you going to make a decision? Come on. Want me to make it for you? I can't make it for you. I'm the coach. But anyway, so what do you think about what I need to do is shut up, give him his space and say, listen, you think, we want to pick this up next time, or I'll go to the bathroom and give him time to think or whatever. And so it goes both ways. Like, I'm growing because I'm needing to slow my roll, which is not easy. And, and at the same time, he's not feeling the pressure of me standing over the top of him, but yet able to give me a decision, so we do get the outcome. But so can you guys see how like super important and valuable all these little lessons are?
Mm.
Mhm.
Kathy?
Perla, one other comment that I would say is that it helps me have more understanding of, so like filing for me used to be excruciating, just awful. But the whole time I was doing it, in my head, I'd be thinking, oh, I hate this. This is awful. Why do I have to do this? And now it's like you can have a whole different mindset. I can have a whole different mindset around, okay, this is going to support me by being organized, being able to grab my stuff faster later. Like, I just try to turn that around and say, all right, what's my why? Why am I doing this? I'm doing this for this end result. Or like, instead of having that negative mindset of, I hate this mundane task or whatever, I get to look at it in a different way and understand why I don't necessarily like it. Because I'm an I.
Well, and to be honest with you, like Kathy's style, she should not be working alone. Guess where she works? In an office by herself.
Yes.
So, those things matter too. Like, and then you think about put the whole COVID mix in it. And for me, getting 250 hugs a day down to, I want to dive into this screen just so I can squeeze you all. So that matters. Ooh, one other thing came out. I was thinking, even Steven, anybody who had up, down, kind of side to side. So then I think one of the questions I asked myself, if they're task oriented, but people oriented, I say,
could you say it again, please?
Oh my goodness.
I say,
Are you talking to her Siri or whatever it is?
I might have
No,
been.
it just came on.
Oh, I'm like, I turned on somebody's Alexa one day. Totally. Yeah. So there's that. What was I saying? Oh, so one of the questions I ask are, if you see a stranger over there, are you going to run up and give them a hug? Or are you going to smile and wave? Because if you're going to smile and wave, you're going to head towards the task side, even though, like, if that line is here, you're going to be right here. Whereas I miss going to bars and hugging strangers. That's how I network. I meet people. I'm a professional networker. I'm a professional connector, right, Deanna?
I've seen her do that.
You must be twins. I'm the same way.
It's a little awkward, I'm gonna say. I'm like, does she know those people? No.
No.
Oh, all right.
They were friends I hadn't met yet.
Right.
That was the slogan at the local bar that I grew up, like the
Our
corner
local
bar.
watering hole.
Their local watering hole. Their slogan on everything was "Strangers are just friends you haven't met yet."
Ah,
And I was like, I love it.
Where do you live? I need to go to that place.
It's not open anymore.
Where I grew up, Pearls.
But
Bonito.
where Julie grew up.
Ah, nice.
One
Awesome.
thing that I always recognize with the disc is you'll find, like, I know we're saying like high eye or, things like that. Basically, the further out you are on the circle, the harder it is for you to come towards the center and meet people where they're at. So even though I've always been like a CS, I'm pretty close to the center of the circle. So it's really easy that way, whereas Pearl is very high, so it's more of a challenge. So also recognizing in the people you're communicating with that if they are expressing some high tendencies, that you're probably going to have to go more to them before they come to you. So let's think sales calls, assessment calls, consultations, like we're all kind of in the management, Deanna, Wendy, is if you have someone who, is like Perla, for example, like it's going to be probably more work for you as their manager or as that person to meet her there and start to slowly tug her towards your style a little bit. So you meet somewhere in the middle that works really well for both of you.
Right. So I'm going to share my screen one more time just to show you exactly what Julie's talking about here. So you can see the axis. And you can see my circle, whereas Julie's circle's more here. Is your circle here, hon?
It's probably, yeah, that's probably
See?
where it is now.
Yeah.
I'd like to retest though.
Well, we can
'Cause
make that happen. I know a girl.
And guys, with that, Perla does do these for individuals, for teams. If you just want to learn more about your communication style, she can do that. And Perla, do you now do the, like, you can, like, if your husband wants to test it and then you
Yes.
figure out like, oh, here's our two styles and how we can maybe leverage this to make our relationship
Right.
better
And that
or
packet,
Date night. Date night. We'll call
Exactly.
that date
date night, disc night.
right? Disc
night.
night.
Valentine's Day is coming up. You want to come over Saturday? Well,
So you would get this whole report, which I said, like I said, I've included in the, so that you guys can look at it. But then what we do is you would actually answer these questions and then you get your results. But then as the facilitator, I will sit down with you via Zoom or whatever and go through them so that you understand what they mean. It also said, you know, it talks about how to work with certain people. Like, once I understood that I didn't think my daughter was an introvert, I'm like, well, why doesn't she want to play basketball? This was, you know, I mean, she's 24 now. So, and I'm thinking, you know, what's wrong with this kid? And I kept trying to push her and go do this and do that and do this. And after I understood that she needed to go to her bedroom to recharge, I was just like, oh my God, I'm such a bad mother. I didn't understand her the way that I do now. And oh my gosh, now we communicate. How about that? So April workshop, I'm going to do kind of phase 2, and the things I'm looking over here because I have a screen over here and I have that instead of me sharing my screen again, I'm just going to let you know. But how to assess others. So like you were all talking about, thinking about your clients, thinking about your family, thinking about people you work with. So we're going to talk next on how to choose which quadrant they fall in through the words that they use, the way that they speak, their body language. Are they open or closed? And creating teams with, like, strategically creating teams. Think about, you know, people and styles that work well together and ones that are a little more challenging. You think you're going to have more efficiency and more results and more profit by having teams that work well together, or by having people that are challenged by each other? Right? So those are some of the things that we're going to be working on in the next, well, not the next workshop, but in the next one I'm going to do in April. Does anybody have any questions?
I've got a question. When you were saying that, you know, pretty much you are what you are, that doesn't change much. But so, you know, like my home style is one way, my work style is another way. Right now I'm learning a new career. So my former work, I would have scored myself completely differently. So some of it is situational experience, you know, like doing your housework, you do that without thinking twice, you just do it. Whereas some of my work style now is delayed just because it's a learning curve. So do you still have the same behavioral style? It's just the level that you're at for speed and accuracy percent, you know what I'm, do you know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
So everybody has a specific behavioral style. It's just their natural tendencies. So you taking the actual DISC assessment would be well worth it, because some people like myself that are way on the edge, it's either white or black. It's either here or there. For people that are more well-rounded and more in the middle, then that's where it's not as easy to figure out. So there are a few other tips and tricks that we use to kind of figure that out. But like, I would be curious, I'd love to see a DISC assessment as to where exactly, you know, where you were. Does that make sense? Excellent.
So
Kristen?
Perla, I did this years ago. DuPont had somebody come in and do all this for us because we were in sales, and it's so funny because you know how I am, you could already tell. And I couldn't be like that. Like you would have brides and grooms come in and I couldn't be like, oh, you're so pretty. Like, you know what I mean? I want to hug you, because you had some come in and they're like, oh no, like, I mean, just tell me how much it costs. Don't touch me. You know what I mean? Like, so it was unbelievable. We did a whole week workshop where everybody got their little, interview, and I had to be, so Amelia's 17. So this is how long ago it was. And then I had it done again, like at the end of my career there. And I didn't change much. I had a little bit more S in there than before, but, it really helped you when you saw that. I mean, you could just see sometimes by the time they walked in the door, what they were like. Can I hug them, or can I just like wave or not do anything?
Right.
And how to talk their style, This is awesome. I'm so excited.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so I got to the point with my clients, like when we had the facility was open, I would be like, Wendy, I'm going to hug you. So at least I'd give her the heads up, but I'm still getting my hug. Whereas Deanna, I just run her over.
She would try
So
to ask
guys-
people, but she did a terrible job.
I
Terrible.
love so much.
You just, when COVID first started, we had to almost tie her hands down. Like it was bad. Bad. You had that one guy screaming at you.
I did.
Not touch him.
Awesome, guys. Well, we're coming up here on time, and is there any final questions for Pearl? I did pop her email in the chat. So you guys, if you're interested in getting your disc done, getting someone in your lives disc done, then reach out to her. Email's the best way for you, Pearls?
Yep, that's perfect.
Okay.
And think too, like virtually this matters as well, because who's on mute and who's not? Who volunteers to speak first? Like there's ways,
man.
right? So we're
Body language, right?
Yeah.
You can see like
Oh.
the engagement. It's
facial
everywhere.
expressions.
Like Megan said in the chat, like the behaviors, it's all communication.
Yeah, all behavior is communication.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So when I'm having trainings and any kind of meetings, if we ask a question and then no one's answering, whoever's off mute gets called on first.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, right.
Then people learn
Really
that.
good to know.
Shouldn't have
Good
said
to
that
know.
now, though, Deanna.
Because
I'm
it's such an issue for some of us.
Right.
Just like,
I just have the TV on in the background, so that's why I'm on mute.
I'm always on mute because I sound like I'm in a zoo, especially in the mornings during the rise and grind. It sounds like a zoo in here. There's no way.
Well, I
Well,
want to thank you
Thank you,
all so
ladies.
much tonight for hanging out with us and going
So
through this
fun.
exercise. And I hope that you all join us again soon.
Well, before we turn you guys loose next month. So we did the annual business workshop at the end of last year. We decided it'd be a really handy thing to do that quarterly, just to have a quarterly milestone for you guys to really reflect and recalibrate for next quarter. So we're going to do that at the end of March. I believe March 24th is the date. I'll keep you guys in the loop. Probably plan on around 90 minutes for that workshop, just because we are going to do some planning, targeting your next quarter, and just setting you guys up for action. If you guys are not in our Women in Leadership program and are interested, Perla, we've got a few of them. Deanna's in it, Wendy's back in, Cindy. We meet the first Monday of every month, and it's a lot of collaboration. So we're kind of teaching. In that group, you bring your topics and we collaborate. We kind of brainstorm. We do all the things that need to be done to get you what you need when you leave that meeting. We would love to have you guys join. With that, you get a one-on-one with either Perla or I during the month. We just swap months, so you get both of us because we are pretty dynamic. So we like to spread that love around. But if you guys are interested in that, it's $100 for a month. There's really no strings attached. If you want out, you just ask to be out. So if you guys want in, let us know. And then if not, we'll see you guys at our next workshop. And we're excited. We hope you guys are too.
The ones that you have the first Monday of the month, that's a 6 o'clock also?
Yep, that's the one you're in. That's a 2-hour one, the group call.
Oh, that's a 6 to 8.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's
Yeah.
when we work, Kathy, just so you'll know, we really focus on like, yes, improving communication, but time management, getting results through others, goal setting. What else? Deanna, why do you what does Women in Leadership do for you?
So I think the biggest thing for me, or I found when this whole thing, when we started this back in March of last year, was bringing situations to the group and having them help you work through it. It could have been anything, like, I want the next promotion. I got this asshole I have to work with right now. Like, it could have been it. I brought a lot of those. But really talking through, like, had to lay somebody off. Horrible. Somebody I knew forever. Like, how do you do that? What do I need to think about? You know, things you may know, you may think you know, but getting everybody else's perspective on those things was amazing. So you always left with, God, you just felt lighter when you left, and with some direction, things to think about, how to interact with your boss better to get the results you need, anything. We all brought everything and anything.
I actually have to jump. I have
a
another
list.
call at 7 o'clock, so I've got to jump. But thank you so much, Perla and Julia. I really enjoyed being here. Thank you.
Great.
Good
Thank
seeing
you,
you, Kath.
Kathy. Thank you, Deanna. And actually, that's all I had for tonight. So
Gretchen, did you have something?
I did just want to ask, do you record those Monday night meetings that you guys have? Because I've got Monday night meetings, so that it sounds fantastic, you know, and even if you were not interactive in it, it sounds like it would be something any meetings like that you could learn from. But
We don't right now, just because of the confidentiality.
confidentiality. Yeah.
It is, because we bring pretty we talk
Yeah.
about
You heard some of my
Sorry.
topics.
Yeah, fire